A school was evacuated after a student brought in a hand grenade for show and tell. A kindergartner brought jello shots and gave them out to classmates. And China and Russia plan on building a nuclear power plant on the moon. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast recorded by a comedian inside a closet. What fun. A primary school was evacuated after a student brought in a hand grenade for show and tell. This is a primary school in Derbyshire. Did I say it right, guys? Derbyshire? I'm sure I did. This primary school in Derbyshire had to be evacuated after a young student brought a hand grenade in for a Second World War show and tell event. Well, when you're doing a World War show and tell, what do you expect? People are going to be bringing in munitions. Students are going to be bringing in artillery shells, I'd imagine. Helmets, boots, sharp things, explosive things. It's a Second World War show and tell. You think they're just bringing in food rations? No, they're bringing in grenades, buddy. Now everyone's going to sit around and say they're so surprised by this. Where did the student get the hand grenade? That's what I'd like to learn. And what was the punishment? I mean, the poor kid, just trying to bring in some history, teach everybody. No fun these days, no fun. Back in my day, you could bring a pipe bomb into show and tell. Your mom's diaphragm, a hookah, the head of a moose. I mean, everything was on the menu. But now, can't bring an explosive. All right, let's get into the story and the details. We have students and staff at the primary care school in Ashburn, Derbyshire. They were evacuated on Friday, and the bomb disposal experts were called in. Head teacher Jeanette Hart told the media she was unsure if the device was live, so she took it from the boy and slowly placed it behind a substantial tree in the car park as the school was cleared and emergency services were called. Oh, this took place outdoors? The World War show and tell happening in a field? Probably because one of the children had a tank. They wanted to, they couldn't bring it inside. Like, come outside, we're going to see the tank. We have a quote here from the head teacher, Mrs. Hart. She says, "Well, it was quite an eventful assembly. It was going quite fine. Brilliant, really. There was a boy who brought in an old bullet case. Loved it. I knew about it. But then his friend produced a hand grenade from his pocket. And that was a bit of a surprise. I don't like hand grenades. Don't want them in my life." It says here the bomb disposal experts were on the scene and they established that the grenade was actually safe. So it either was fake or it was inert. Inert, that means it's not going to blow up because it's inert. It's a fun word, inert. Take it for a spin. Try it out yourself today. See if you can squeeze it into your life. Okay, diving back into the article, we got some more information. Apparently this grenade is a family heirloom, and the student brought it to school without telling his parents. Well, that really blew up in his face, didn't it? All right, now the story circles back to Mrs. Hart, the head teacher. She says, "I ended the assembly, took it off him, slowly carried it outside and put it behind a far tree in the car park. I wasn't 100% happy carrying it, to be honest. I don't like grenades. I don't want them in my life." How brave of her to take the grenade, which at the time she wasn't sure if it was active. She walked it outside, putting it behind a tree. I mean, I guess if you just, it's not the best place to put a grenade, but, you know, in a pinch, I guess you could put it behind a large tree in a car park. I'd probably look for a dumpster to put it in. No, that's probably a bad idea. Most dumpsters are near buildings. Bury it, maybe? Could you? Oh, if you could throw it in a pond, that's the best way to get rid of a grenade, right? Chuck it in a pond. Just go to the nearest golf course and throw it in the... They have little ponds there. Just chuck it right in there. That's a good place for it. So as you can imagine, the police and the Army bomb disposal experts were called to the scene. The children and the staff were moved to safety. The Derbyshire police said Army explosives experts determined the grenade was safe using X-ray equipment. They took an X-ray of it. I didn't know you could do that. Officers praised the school staff for their quick thinking. The school had a statement for parents and families. Just a word of guidance for parents and guardians. Double check what your children are taking to show and tell, especially when they are family heirlooms. Yeah, and especially if they're weaponry and armaments from world wars, which I'm sure European families have these things laying around. World War was a major part of the lives of the ancestors there, so many people fought in the wars. I'm sure there's tons of grenades and bombs, muskets, muskets. You know what I'm trying to say. So just, don't let the kid bring in the explosive to the show and tell. It's just a game I play when I want to. Al Wilson, ladies and gentlemen. Any fans out there? Al Wilson. Now, the article ends without saying whether or not this child won the show and tell. You should at least give him a medal in the most dedicated category, wouldn't you say? A kindergarten student brought jello shots to class and handed them out. Very similar story from the previous one. Some student bringing something inappropriate to class. An investigation is underway in Pennsylvania after a kindergarten student gave jello shots out to the classmates. This is called the show and tell vodka style. Let's find out what occurred. Did a party break out? Turns out nap time had the highest number of participants ever and for the longest duration. Okay, the Greater Johnstown School District in Pennsylvania said a kindergarten student at the elementary school gave out, quote, alcohol in the form of small jello cups to 3 other students. Oh, only 3? It's not the party that I thought it was going to be. Now, Billy, when you bring a treat to class, you must bring enough for the entire class. Did you? I sure did, Mrs. Moore, and the stripper pole's being put up as we speak. Well, it sounds like the teachers intervened rather early on in the process. Only shots were given to a few of the students. These teachers were like, we need to confiscate these as evidence. They'll be in the teacher's lounge for the next hour for our enjoyment. They called the police about it. Yes, I'm a teacher at the school, and a student brought in 115 jello shots to class today. So if you guys could come on down here and assess the situation. Now it says the superintendent said that once staff learned about the situation, immediate action was taken. Yeah, which I've alluded to already what the action probably was. And by all means, have some jello shots, teachers. You have a very difficult job. High stressful situation. You're not paid very much. Teachers need jello shots. Now, it also says the students were taken to the nurse's office for evaluation, and out of caution, they called emergency services to take the children to a local hospital. Parents were notified and met first responders at the hospital. It says it's unclear exactly how the student got the alcoholic jello cups. Jello cups. I've never heard them referred to as jello cups. The district is looking into this and cooperating with authorities. I think there was careless parenting going on. That's how the student got a hold of the jello shots. They were put on the lower row of the refrigerator and then, easily accessible to this little shorty bringing it in. Now, my question is, how does the student then get the jello shots to the school without the parents seeing it? The kid just walks out the front door with a tray. All right, I'm off to the bus, Ma. How do you not see this? The kid bring in jello shots. You can't really throw them in a backpack either. I mean, they just melt in there. That's a disaster. So a lot of questions. Wonder if there's going to be some punishment for the child. Shouldn't. I mean, in my opinion, this kid's going places. And by places, I mean head of a fraternity. There's another statement from the school district. They say, we are currently in possession of the jello cups and the matter. Why do you keep calling them jello cups? What planet are you from, bro? So the matter is under investigation. We're cooperating fully with local authorities to determine how the student came into possession of these items and to ensure the continued safety of our students and our staff. The school thanked the staff, administration, school nurses, and school police officers for their, quote, swift response to the situation. And by swift response, they mean eating most of the evidence. Hey, it's a Friday at school. You got to do it.
Washington has a spending problem, and the American people know it. But instead of eliminating Biden's Green New Scam, some Republicans want to raise taxes. Increasing taxes on Main Street and hardworking families is a gut punch. Voters didn't send Republicans to Washington to raise taxes. They sent them to cut spending and protect their paychecks. Congress has a choice. Cut Biden's wasteful spending or raise taxes. Tell the politicians we need tax relief, not tax hikes. Learn more at protectprosperity.com. Paid for by Americans for Prosperity.
China and Russia sign a deal to build a nuclear power plant on the moon. Russia and China have just signed this deal to build a nuclear power plant. A Russian reactor will power what has been dubbed the International Lunar Research Station. This is an initiative jointly led by both countries and expected to be completed by 2036. In other words, this is never going to happen. The announcement follows the revelation that due to NASA's 2026 budget, U.S. plans for a lunar research station have been scrapped. Currently, NASA is China's main rival for lunar exploration, as its Artemis 3 program is set to launch astronauts to the moon once again sometime in 2027. Now, meanwhile, China and Russia have both said that the construction of the research station is expected to be autonomous without any human assistance. In an interview, the director of Roscosmos, Yuri Borisov, claimed that technological advancements to make the project a reality are, quote, almost ready, comrade. He says further, the station will conduct fundamental space research, test technology for long-term uncrewed operations of the ILRS, with the prospect of a human being's presence on the moon. Well, joke's on these guys, because Trump recently claimed the moon and is renaming it Itty Bitty America. So he's calling it America's Nightlight. He's already drilling for oil and plans to build hotels on the damn thing. Elon is impregnating many women to begin the moon baby mission. Moon babies. Okay, you want more details about what they plan to do? It's all plans. They got these plans by 2050, by 2075. This stuff's never going to happen. You know, you can just build a nuclear reactor on the moon. Are you out of your mind? Yeah, shooting nuclear materials into outer space. What could possibly go wrong? All of this is just a bunch of men, rich men, having a penis measuring contest. Oh, you're going to the moon? Oh, yeah? Well, we're going to the moon more. We're going to build a huge thing on the moon. We're going to build a nuclear reactor on the moon. And no, we're going to Mars. Oh, no, we're going to Mars. This is all this is. And then none of it ever happens. Yeah, a nuclear reactor on the moon. I mean, just think about how dumb that is. How are you going to keep it cool? There's no water. All right. Well, we're going to build it on the shady side of the moon. There's a shady side. Pink Floyd sang about it. You know it. How are you going to get the power back down to Earth? You're going to run a few cables? It's the article here ends by saying the lunar base and the planned nuclear power plant on the moon is the foundation for manned missions to Mars, which they aim to complete by 2050. We're going to have a man on Mars by 2050. That's right, comrade. We have men on Mars by 2050. Well, maybe 2080, maybe 29. We don't know. We're just talking. It's a lot of fun. Aren't you busy with the war right now with Ukraine? Yes, kind of busy with war, but still want to do the moon. We want the vodka plant up in space. Really, we're talking about it. We're making designs for Venus Vodka Distillery on Venus. Yes. Perfect place for a vodka distillery. Venus.
Memorial Day savings are here at the Home Depot. So take your kitchen to the next level with up to 35% off, plus up to an extra $450 off select appliances like LG. Plan your get-togethers with an LG refrigerator you can count on for years to come at the Home Depot. And with the connected ThinQ app, you'll know if the door is left open and when to change the filter. Spend less time worrying this Memorial Day with savings on LG, America's most reliable appliance brand at the Home Depot. Offer valid May 15th through June 4th, U.S. only. See store or online for details.
Oh, hello, my friends, my loyal listeners. Thank you so much for spending some time with the Weird AF News podcast at the start of your week. I hope you had a lovely weekend of fun in the sun. Temperatures are rising. Temperatures rising. Your body's yearning. Is that off limits singing that song? I think it is. Oh my goodness, I'm going to get canceled and kicked out of the closet. How come? I don't want to be removed from a closet. I had a lovely weekend of shows. It was good times. Watching NBA playoffs. And, mourning my Celtics. But just not letting it get me too down. Could have used some jello shots myself the end of last week, for sure. For sure. Anyways, if you're new to the show, please subscribe. Please consider subscribing, however you're listening to this, whatever platform you're on. It's available everywhere. And, bring in the weird news in your life 5 days a week. I mean, why wouldn't you want weird news in your life 5 days a week? Have you seen the mainstream news? We need a break. We all need a break. Anyways, I'm providing you that with Weird AF News. And sometimes it's funny. All right? But at least you learn something weird about the world. You can tell people at work. It's good. What do they call that? Water cooler talk? Water cooler talk, You bring in these weird facts, weird events that are going around in the world. Anyways, if you want to email me, if you got some weird news that you think is appropriate for the show, please send it over, buddy. It's funnyjones@gmail.com. And I'm on Instagram @funnyjones. You can slide them into my DMs there. I'm not opposed to you sliding. Slide right in there. Yep. Just come in there. Just get into my box. And then if you'd like to support the show, I have a website here paid for by my lovely patrons. It's at weirdafnews.com. And you can join the Patreon, or you can buy a coffee or something. Do any of that. So yeah, pretty helpful. But no need. Just if you're just feeling frisky, hit it up. weirdafnews.com. I'll see you mañana, as always. And good luck with your life, man.